What if tarot could taste like comfort food? Today we're diving into the Pasta Tarot, a whimsical, heartfelt deck that turns pasta shapes into symbolism, archetypes, and surprisingly deep meanings. Let's find out if this deck is truly al dente or if it falls a little flat. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sylvan's Way. And since we're heading into Thanksgiving, the season of food, comfort, and gathering, I thought that this was the perfect time to review a deck inspired by Italy's greatest gift to the world, pasta. But before we jump in, I just want to remind you guys that I am hosting a Forest of Gratitude 500 subscriber giveaway. Now, I've already reached my 500 subscriber count, but the giveaway actually runs until December 31st. So you still have time to enter if you want to enter. I'm going to leave a link up here as well as down in this description if you're interested. Okay, so now back to this deck. The Pasta Tarot was created by writers Jeff, I don't know how to, Petriello and Rob Truglia. I am so sorry. I always butcher names. And it is illustrated by Lindsy Mound. This deck is a mass market deck, and it was published by Clarkson Potter in 2022, I think it is. And it really blends Italian heritage, food rituals, humor, and emotional honesty into a tarot. Believe it or not, this deck wasn't made as a joke. It was actually created because the creators wanted to explore identity, culture, and connection through something that we all love and know, which is food. So each suit represents a pasta family, and the major arcana reimagines like the classic archetypes with like a fresh, funny, and believe it or not, a surprisingly thoughtful interpretation. So let's look at this packaging. The packaging, it's not magnetic, but it is a flip top. And of course, it's got the red checker, which is very traditional Italian food. I don't know about you, but I love Italian food. It is one of my favorites. The back of it says, the sauce is in the cards. Think of each card in this deck as a rich slab of lasagna, which is my favorite, layered with texture, hidden ingredients, and substance to help answer your deepest questions and manifest your juiciest desires. Made by queer Italian Americans and bursting with Italian tradition, the Pasta Tarot celebrates all genders, ethnicities, and pasta shapes. So I think that's really, really fun, the way that they described it here on the back of it. So on the inside, it's just a basic inside. We have a little guidebook, and then we have the cards. And then this is the inside of the box with a pull string. So that's the box. Let's take a look at this guidebook. So this guidebook is like an accordion style guidebook, but it does have a couple, so it doesn't really have a lot in it. So we can see both sides of it. But it doesn't have a lot in it. But it does have a couple of fun, cheeky spreads in here. And it also gives you the base information that you need to know about the deck. So what do you mean Pasta Tarot? The Pasta Tarot was cooked up after we saw a hunky Italian on the beach and proclaimed, "Ganoche." It was then we realized pasta shapes every meaning for us outside of our bellies. Combining our knowledge of the traditional tarot and our queer Italian American identities, we concocted this delicious divination deck to spread joy, love, and provide insight into life's mysteries. Serve al dente. And then they did rename the suits. So wands is corda, which is short pasta. Cups is the stuffed pasta. Swords is long pasta, and Pentacles is tiny pasta. So there is some change up in the deck, which for me it was a little hard to grasp, to tell you honestly, because it doesn't have the traditional symbols when you're going through it, so the renaming of it did make it a little harder for me to do some spreads. But we'll do a spread at the end of this so you can see what it looks like. So that is the little guidebook that comes with it. And then these are the cards themselves. And this is just so stinking cute. Look at these cards. So Lindsy Mound's art style is very playful, I would say. It's very graphic but warm. And when I mean graphic, I mean it's kind of like, it almost looks like, what am I thinking? Kind of like a graphic novel kind of look almost. So you get some bold colors and shapes with some clean line work, with some very expressive characters. Look at the expressions on all of these faces. And then it's also got that little bit of hint of retro charm that I love in cards. So it's kind of like modern editorial illustration meets vintage pasta packaging, you know? Oh, it's almost like that. So the palette is very cozy, it's very edible. It's got those tomato reds, the basil greens, olive, Parmesan cream almost, some warm golds, blush pink, soft ricotta white. So it's really vibrant, I think, in the colors without being too loud, which I feel like really lends it to this pasta theme because it creates that comforting food vibe and makes the deck really feel very inviting. So I really think it's stinking cute. I really love the way that it's done. The cards themselves are your normal 70 by 120. So your normal tarot size deck. It's got like, do you hear that? It's like a linen finish to the cards themselves. There is no gilding, so it's got the white edges. And then the back of it, look at it. It's a bowl of pasta. It's, of course, a bowl of pasta with some roses. And it is reversible, so you can read reversibles with this particular deck. So let's do a flip through of these cards so you can see what they look like. There we go. Aren't those cards so cheeky. They're so cheeky. Some of the fun things about it that I really like is that in each one of the different suits, they do have, oh, I'm trying to find it. It has the name of the pasta on the card. So I did notice that. There's a lot of cheekiness in this deck. I mean, look at the world. I noticed the world. It was so cute. Oh, she's feeding lasagna to the tiger. I mean, to the lion. Isn't that so cute? And then, of course, the world has all the different kinds of pasta and salads in there. Doesn't this look like Ruth? I think this looks like Ruth. You know, my mom always said when we were making pasta when I was younger to throw it on the wall and see if it sticks. If it sticks, it's done. So I think it's hilarious that they included like a graphic of that look at this devil. So cheeky. It's so cheeky. And then and look at the sun. He's riding a donkey. I mean, come on. Come on. This is just fantastically hilarious. I think it is absolutely adorable. So I think that this deck is really good for kind of readings like comfort and self-care. Mostly because pasta, for me, is a comfort food. Just like looking at this reminds me of being at home, big bowl of spaghetti in the middle of the table. All of the dishes are clanking. People are passing food around. Mom's sitting there with a glass of wine. You know, conversation is going. Kids are playing and running around. So to me, this is just like such a comfort type deck. And it's really gentle but nourishing, kind of like the food. So I feel like comfort and self-care readings would go really well with this. I also think because there's so many families in these images that I think relationship and family dynamics, those would be great readings to do with these cards because food is communal, you know, and it really reflects that in the energy of this deck. I also think that holidays, celebrations, seasonal readings, it's perfect for that because it's perfect. It's something lighthearted but meaningful. So it's really a fantastic choice for holidays and celebrations. And I know that Thanksgiving is much more than just about food. And I feel like with this food deck, you get so much more than just food. It's so much. It's about the inner relationships, the family relationships, people coming together and connecting. That's the kind of readings that this kind of a deck is great for. So let's do a shuffle. Let's see how it shuffles. So it does a riffle shuffle just fine. Of course. And then, of course, now look at, I am bowing them. So, you know, when that happens, I got to shuffle them the other way. So I wouldn't say that this is the greatest cardstock out there, but it does shuffle. And of course, you could do your overhand. Now, when I got this was a pre-loved deck. I got it with my 31 other decks. I'll link the video up here where I did a road trip to go pick up 31 decks from somebody on Marketplace. It was a lot of fun. It was such an adventure. And this was one of those decks. And it did come a little bowed. And I would go to guess that this cardstock not being the greatest, that it probably came like that for her as well. But it does shuffle really well. So the overhand shuffling is great. Now, yesterday, I put out a spread called the House Special Spread. And since this is a food-themed deck and this is Thanksgiving week, I created a spread inspired by this Italian meal where we have salad, breadsticks, wine, and spaghetti. So let's do a reading for the masses of this house special spread. Let me just do this one more time here, trying to get them shuffled up really well. One thing I can't stand is when my cards are not shuffled well, and so the first time I shuffle a deck, I do spend a lot of time shuffling them so that they're well shuffled. So let's do that, and let's do a little separation. And so let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so this is the salad. Oh, I got my cards upside down. This is the salad. So this is what needs a fresh perspective. Then we have our breadsticks. This is what sustains us. This is the wine, what brings warmth and joy. And then, I'm running off the table a little bit in my camera. And this is the spaghetti, what is weaving together in my life. So again, this is a collective spread. So let's take a moment and take a look at these and do a little reading for the collective. Okay, let's see. So the salad, what needs a fresh perspective? So we have the Ace of Swords. This is actually the Ace of Swords. And this is more like a breakthrough is waiting. But it needs a mental reset at first. So like this really points to seeing a situation with some sharper clarity, like cutting through some old assumptions and reframing a conversation, decision, or belief in this. So it's like you're on the edge of a new truth or plan with maybe some fresh eyes to reveal what's been just out of sight. So that is your fresh perspective, the salad. Then we have the breadsticks. So this is what sustains you. And this is justice, which is really interesting. So what sustains you is, and it kind of points back to this one, it really is about fairness and balance and integrity are all part of your true nourishment in your life. So with this, you feel most grounded when life feels aligned and reciprocal, when you're operating like in honesty and coherence, when you're making choices that you can stand behind. So your inner compass is really strong right now. So lean into what feels right, not just what feels easy. Then we have the wine. So what brings warmth and joy to you? And this is the Queen of Swords. It's interesting that we have two swords here between justice. Did you notice that? So the Queen of Swords, she, your joy, your warmth actually comes from clarity. So it comes back to this justice, doesn't it? You like to have boundaries. You like to speak your truth with confidence. This queen reminds you that your directness is actually liberating for you. It's like self-respect is your source of pleasure. I know that sounds weird, but that's kind of what I'm getting. Your mind thrives when it is respected and valued. So your warmth doesn't have to mean soft. Sometimes what warms you is the ability to be fully and fiercely yourself. It's so interesting that it is leading up to that. Then we have the last one. We have the spaghetti. What is weaving together in your life? And this is the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups is you have in these three cards, you have so much mind. You have rules, regulations, sharp edges, mind, thoughts, processes, all of that is here. But what is actually weaving together in your life, it's so interesting that this is here. So it's almost like it's saying that a deeper emotional shift is unfolding. in your life. The threads are weaving together right now. They include like letting go of something that is no longer fulfilling to you, walking towards something more meaningful, and recognizing what your heart has outgrown. So this is more of a quiet departure moment. So maybe one that seeks clarity of the swords, the fairness of the justice, the self-respect of the queens, and an emotionally honest direction, almost like you're going. So like I feel like these cards, if this reading is resounding for you, what these cards are really saying is that your mind is taking the lead, and it's really showing you a new truth and helping you articulate boundaries that honor your integrity. And these insights are naturally guiding to you, you toward like a shift or departure that will bring you greater emotional alignment, if that makes any sense to you. So this spread is really about clarity, honesty, and then purposeful change, walking away from something, really seeing, valuing your integrity, aligning with who you are, and making that choice to gently walk away from a situation. Oh, it's almost kind of like a negative thing in the end, but that's really where it seems to be going for these cards. So if this reading resounded for you, then take it, and then take what you want from it. Otherwise, just leave it. Just think of it as just a card reading for the masses. But that is how the pasta tarot looks in a spread and reads in a spread. So, what do you think? Is the pasta tarot al dente? For me, I really think it is. I think it's charming. I think it is well designed. I feel like it is emotionally resilient and really perfect for more lighthearted seasonal readings because it's got all the food in there. So I think that whether you're a tarot reader, a pasta lover, or both, this deck, it might just be the treat for you. So if you have enjoyed this walkthrough, don't forget to like, subscribe, and don't forget to check out the Forest of Gratitude giveaway. Again, the link will be down below. And thank you for joining me today. And may your week be cozy, nourishing, and full of flavor. So stay magical, and I will see you on the next one. I appreciate you. Thanks. Bye.